Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. This video is my project pan update. I think it's my first update. I had an intro that went up in the middle of January. I had technically filmed it a little bit earlier in the month, so I don't have 4 weeks of progress. I actually have closer to 6 weeks of progress. It's unusual for me to have such a good update in my very first update, but I think giving myself a couple extra weeks has really helped me, and I actually do have an empty to share with you, so let's start with that one. If you've watched my Juvia's Place eyeshadow bingo or my most recent empties video, then this is not a surprise for you, but it's the Mary Lou-Manizer highlighter, and this one is finally done. I had repressed it right at the beginning of the year, or maybe at the tail end of last year. There was only a tiny little bit of product around the outer edges, and so I pressed them into the center to make it easier to get. There really wasn't a lot of product in there. In fact, I used up 0.4 grams, so just under half a gram. It took me like 3 or 4 weeks to do that. This was my oldest makeup product. I had bought it in 2015. All of my products now are 2016 or newer. This was beautiful. I have a lot of champagne highlights, a lot of other highlighter formulas to play with, so I don't need to go out and get this again, but this was really nice. It's a very big accomplishment for me to finish this. Let's move into a product that I know is going to take me a lot longer to finish, but I do feel like if I consistently reach for this, I will be able to finish it by the end of the year, and that is the Hourglass Blush in Incandescent Electra. And I have used up 0.78 grams. This has 4.2 grams in it, so the fact that I used up 3/4 of a gram over the course of 6 weeks, and I've already used this over 100 times to begin with, I do really feel confident that I can have this done by the end of the year as long as I focus on it. One of the things to keep in mind with this blush, and I don't know if everyone has this problem or if it's just this specific one, but because it's a marbled product and it's infused with a lighter powder, as a result there's a lot of lightness in this blush, and so in order to get blush to show up on my cheeks, I do have to apply quite a bit of it. I do feel like I have a lot of blush on today, but that's this with a cream blush as well. I'll try to find an older photo of this from whenever I first started using it, and there was a lot more pink in the pan. Right now where I am wearing down the product, there's a lot more light, and so I am using a lot more than I was when I first started using it, just because I need more to get more pigment on my cheeks. But yeah, let me know if you're having the same issue with your marbled products from Hourglass or just from other marbled products in general. I forgot to mention, because I did finish that powder highlighter from TheBalm, I am going to bring in a new one. This one I also have a ton of progress on, and I do think I can finish realistically by the end of the year, and that's the Becca Berlin Girl Glow highlighter. This was in collaboration with Hattis Schmidt. This one is starting in at 59.11 grams, and it says in the product that there is 7 grams of product in here. I definitely think I've used up more than half of the product in this pan. And it is one of those more natural type of colors, so I do end up putting it on the top of my cheekbones, around my eyebrows, on my nose. I like to put it everywhere. It's a very beautiful natural color on my skin tone, even though it does have a little bit of like a bluish, purpley, cool toned flash to it, which I think is really unique and interesting. Using up 2 full-size highlighters in the course of a year, even though both of them had a ton of work on them already, will be very exciting. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with how many highlighters I own, so being able to finish 2 full-size ones will make me feel a little bit better. Now for my bronzer, my Franken bronzer, I guess you could call it. This is an old Pure packaging, and I just really like how big the pan is. And I pressed in the rest of my CoverFX bronzer in the shade Sunkissed and my butter bronzer from Physicians Formula, and mixed them together and pressed them back into here. And the way I repressed it, I don't know, I'm just not good at repressing really large pans worth of product like this. I'm much better at like the smaller ones, but because of the way I pressed it, it's really thick on the outer edges, and then the middle part was super thin. So even though I did hit pan and expand the pan quite a bit over the past 6 weeks, I would say that there's still a ton of product left on the outer portions of it. Those parts are a little bit thicker, and both of those shades were relatively light. In fact, the CoverFX one I felt like was too light, so mixing them together kind of creates this perfect bronzer shade for me right now during this time of the year, so this is the perfect time for me to be trying to use it up. And I used up 2.94 grams, just under 3 grams worth of product. I think a big reason for that is because I do use a really large fluffy brush. I apply it all over, pretty much all over my face and neck and chest to make everything match, and it's a repress formula, so it's much easier to pick up product. I feel like it's got a lot more fallout than whenever I was originally using them in their original pan. I have a setting spray here. This is the e.l.f. Matte Magic Mist and Set. I have used 18.24 grams worth of product, and if you can see, I've probably used up like an inch worth of product in the before and after photos. I still have a ways to go. I'm gonna say maybe 2 or 3 more months of use. Maybe if I just use this on a regular basis, I could have it out in 2 months. I don't find this to be the most mattifying or effective mattifying setting spray, and so I do try to use this on a regular basis, but when I want my makeup to last longer, or I just wanna make sure I don't get oily towards the end of the day, I will reach for a more effective setting spray. So I am eager to finish this up. It's not horrible. It's not like I can't find any use for it, but it's just not really my preferred formula. So I'm excited to have this used up soon. I have 2 lip pencils, and I feel like I used right around the same amount of product from both of them, but one of them I used way more and I thought I was gonna have way better progress on, and that's the Bedrose lip liner from NYX. This is like a deeper pink, and I did reach for this a ton. I feel like I reached for it like 2 weeks in a row, pretty much every day. I would use it to line my lips, fill my whole lips, and then put a tinted lip balm on top, and it's a really beautiful color. I like that combo, but because I was using it to not only line my lips but also fill them in, I thought I would have a lot more progress, but I've actually only used 0.25 grams, so a quarter of a gram. You will see pretty decent progress in the photos, and if I do make an effort to reach for it as much as I have in the past 6 weeks, I do think I can make gradual progress and maybe have this out in like 3 months or so, maybe less. I'm not actually sure where the product ends in the pencil. Either way, it's a lovely formula. It's just one of my older lip liners, and I'm eager to have it moved out. And then the other one is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner. I think I've had this a little bit longer than the NYX one, so I think they're right around the same age. And this one, I don't feel like I've reached for it as much. I would make an effort to reach for Bedrose more than Pillow Talk, but this one I've used up 0.3 grams. So I'm just very surprised to see that I've used up more product from a lip pencil that I've used less. I guess that just has to do with differences in the formula. In my before and after photos, you can see I'm trying to compare the size of the product to the size of the cap so that you can have a better reference of how much product is going down each month. Either way, I'm super pumped to be very close to finishing 2 lip pencils. These are products that take me a long time to finish, so to be able to have 2 out, especially so early in the year, feels like a really great motivator. And the very last one is a single eyeshadow. I don't typically put these in project pans, but I just would like to make an effort to finish up some of my singles slowly over time. I'm not rushing it, and I'm definitely not using it so much that it's getting in the way of my progress for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. You'll be able to see in the before and after photos that I have expanded the pan quite a bit. I did reach for it a handful of times. I would say maybe 5 or 6 times. And this is such a beautiful crease shade. I really do love this. And I don't think they make this shade anymore, so if anyone knows of a dupe, please let me know. Over the past 6 weeks, I have used up 0.14 grams, and this is 1.8 grams, so I still have quite a ways to go. So when we look at total of how much I've used up 23.05 grams over the past 6 weeks. Do keep in mind that over 18 grams of that total is just from the setting spray alone. But it still feels really good to make great progress, especially on some of these longer term products like that blush. I do have a couple other project pans that I'm working on. The Pan Those Eyeshadows project that I just talked about, and also my partners in Creme, where I try to focus on more cream and liquid products. And I do have a project pan playlist if you would like to see more content like this. I've been doing project pans since the middle of 2017, so I have racked up quite a few videos. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!